Hey guys, this is going to be a series of little videos, kind of like we did with our research paper, called Beyond Presenting Information, How to Create a Presentation that Captures an Audience. And this first mini lesson is in framing your presentation. So what we're thinking of here is what would make a presentation move your audience from this to this. And when you guys have to sit through 3 or 4 days of presentations, it can be dry because our default mode that we talk about all the time is we open up a PowerPoint, we pick something that seems, that would work for us without doing much thinking about what we're doing or why we're doing, and then we just start plugging in title slides and kind of just dumping information on our audience. It becomes very dry and it doesn't have much meaning, and there's not a lot of connection. And so when you think of presenting information, it's more than just standing up there and babbling. It's really about connecting and building a story. And so we're going to first talk about framing before you even think about what kind of tool you want to use to do it. We will have to think about why and what. So the first thing that you want to think about is really like, what do you want your audience to think or do when you finish? Right? So you have a 3 to 5 minute presentation and then you have this audience and they're just sitting here. So typically in school situations, we dump some information on there. No one's really paying attention. We don't ask them to do much or connect with us. We just want the grade and we just want to make sure that we can check off all the points in the rubric. But as you know, we work with intention and sincerity. So really think about, before you enter into this, what do you want your audience to think or do when you finish? Another way to think about this is to frame it before you create it. So what's the why? What's the what that you want to say? And then finally, what's the how? But you have to start with the why. Like, why are you even presenting? It shouldn't be just to get a grade. And so you have to bring some meaning and intention to it. The what's, the what am I even doings, really thinking about what you need to put in there. That doesn't necessarily mean everything that needs to be in there. And we do a lot of this self-editing when we write, but the same types of thing is what you're writing a presentation. So how do you self-edit? Think about your audience. And then finally, what kind of presentation mode or presentation maybe style or background or visual do you want to use? So this just recaps for you. Finding the why, the what, and the how. So first you want to, for yourself, so now you know, like, what do I want my audience to do when I'm done? Think about what your purpose and intention is. Is it to inspire? Is it to motivate? Is it to inform? And even then, what do you want them to do with that information? Is it to argue some sides so people can sit and make their own decision? Is it to make them reflect a little bit on your own journey or think about and connect with you? So think about what your purpose and intention is. Brainstorm only what audience needs and in what order you might want to put those. So while maybe you have all of these ideas and they're all scattered around, you really have to think about, like, okay, so my audience needs only this, 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 and this. And I'm going to put it in this order intentionally because this builds to this, builds to this. And we'll talk about transitions in another mini lesson, but it's really important to think about what they need to know, what details can be left out, and what are the best kinds of things to include for your particular audience purpose and context. Then finally, what is the best approach? There's a lot of different ways to approach giving a presentation. If you want it to be super interactive, if you want to take them on a journey, if it's going to be focused, like you can tell my approach that I'm taking already, you might have seen, is that I'm using GIFs as like a constant part of my visual. So what is my visual support? For the purposes of this, I'm putting a lot of words on the slide because I want you guys to be able to see it and hear it at the same time. But maybe in your presentation, you wouldn't do that. And so this is a good example of a slide that maybe you want no more than 3 ideas on a slide, and try to keep it to like 3 or 4 words per line. Clearly this is a few more, but I wanted to make sure that you could take this with you. So for the best approach in visual support, I have this little GIF on the side of this woman jamming out. Like, What's your vibe that you want to give off? Is it serious? Is it somber? Is it nostalgic? Is it um, contemplative? Is it inspirational? So really think about your tone. So that's basically how we're going to frame it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.